a very, very special welcome to the Captain Picard Week edition of Strange New Pod. I'm your Command Hollow and host for this one, Julian Brown, alongside my fellow awesome Hollows who do an assortment of awesome things. Our engineering and comms Hollow, Eric, who keeps our streams and much more up and running. Also, did y'all see that awesome Mission Chicago design that he did for our stickers when we're going to be heading there? That's so cool. So excited to give those out to people.
Such good work.
Yeah, they're awesome. Perfection. Yes. So our Picard stand-in Hollow, who is always available to be activated when Jean-Luc is off ship, Hawk, and our hospitality Hollow, who, while trying to organize your life, will start going off about the Kelvinverse. Giraffe, welcome, yes. And Jolan True. How's everybody doing?
We're all good.
We're all
good. Talk about season 1 Picard.
I popped something in my mouth at the wrong time.
Stuffed his face at the complete wrong time. That's okay.
I got this uniform today.
It worked out very well.
It's perfect. Perfect.
It is perfection. I didn't put this in the outline, but I do want to say this is our final piece of programming for Captain Picard Week, and I just want to say a big thank you and congratulations to all the amazing podcasts that went live this week and just did some really awesome and really important shows. Hawk and Giraffe, you guessed it on a couple of pods. Just such a great experience, and I've had so much fun. It's been a ton of work, but I wouldn't have it any other way. It's been really cool. So
this was a huge undertaking.
Yes, yes, and
Absolutely.
Yeah, knock on wood, because we're live now, and I don't know if anything could really go wrong, but that pretty much went off without a hitch somehow, which I'm really surprised about. But again, congratulations and thank you to all the amazing podcasts that took part in our first ever podcast festival. It was a ton of fun. And then the fun really begins tomorrow because Picard season 2 premiere. But today, I know Hawk's like panting, breathing, must relax. Today, we're going to take a look back, though, at Picard season 1, which I think, like, out of all the new Trek series, probably the most polarizing out of all of them, kind of split the new Trek fan base a bit. I know kind of where we all already lie about the series, but we're going to get into all of that. The first thing, I just want to go right into the podcast right off the bat. When you guys first heard the news that Patrick Stewart was coming back to the role and this series was being made, what were your first impressions? We're going to go in this order for the entire show, so remember your spots, ladies and gentlemen. It'll be Eric, Giraffe, and Hawk. Eric, your first reactions to when you heard Picard was coming back.
Remember, there have been 2 times when Patrick Stewart has broken the internet. It was when he announced that he was coming back to Picard, and I remember that video just spread like wildfire. The second one was when his voice showed up in Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Everyone was just like, what the fuck? For both of them, because no one expected him to really come back, or at least at such an older age. And, you know, they sort of left alone the whole TNG era crew. But the fact that he came back and he was like executive producing, so he'd have a hand behind it, and he said it was taken with care. It just broke everyone, and everyone was so fucking excited about it. Like it was great.
Yeah. Giraffe.
Are you sure you want to know?
Yes.
That's why we're here.
So first of all, I didn't even see the announcement because after the first season, I was just done with Picard. I was into Discovery and Strange New World and stuff. So to be honest, after the last episode, I was like, yeah, I'm done with that series. I don't care what's going to happen next. Like they can like bring him back. They can like transforming into a Borg. I have not a lot of excitement for it. So yeah, I was more interested into knowing that other cast member would be coming, like Whoopi Goldberg was more exciting to me than to know that Patrick Stewart was coming back. I was like, yeah, what?
Yeah.
But I think this is more for like the first season, right? Like before
the initial announcement.
Yeah, the initial announcement.
Coming back.
Sorry.
Yeah, this is season 1. It's okay.
I'm already messing up at the first question.
That's
Aren't you
okay.
happy to have me here with my uniform, not listening what's going on?
Too much snake leaf.
Yeah, okay. Again, I will keep the same answer. Like, I was not a great fan of TNG. So I was like, they're doing a show about the guy I never liked.
You mean the English Frenchman?
The English Frenchman, the white dude that gives me lesson every time I watch a show and tells me that I'm not being a good ensign. Like, whatever. I was not super into it. I was more into it when they said that this was gonna be a lot about Romulans. I was like, okay, I'll watch that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Fair. Yeah.
Aren't you glad I'm here?
Yes.
Yes.
Always.
Absolutely.
Hawk.
Oh God, I think I probably out of the group I was including yourself, Julian, who is a TNG, stand for life, and that TNG was what I grew up on. So the fact that they announced that Picard was coming back was just, the possibilities were just raging in my mind.
I think
even with Patrick Stewart's age and that, I thought there's so many things they could do.
I think in our group chat, like me and Hawk have a separate group chat for Geeks with Kids. It was like me, you, and Shouse just constantly talking about Picard as soon as it came out. We're just like, we have alienated everyone else in this chat.
Is that why they don't show up for the podcast anymore?
No, they do. Once in a blue moon.
Hawk, I don't know why you didn't get cast as Patrick Stewart's stunt double, man. Like, come on. At least
Paramount. Maybe some sort of a younger one.
It's because they didn't film it in Toronto, right? That's why.
Yeah,
That's the pure reason.
Yeah.
You know that's how my husband calls you, right? When he's like, Hawk, who's Hawk? I was like, Hawk from the podcast. He's like, oh, Stewart. And I'm like, yeah, that's him.
I'm going to read a comment on Twitch and then I'll give my thoughts. LLAP81 says, it can be hard to see the captain you grew up with being deconstructed a bit. I didn't grow up with Picard, but I can appreciate the struggle, though I enjoyed Picard overall. Go ahead.
I like that he's a captain that we've deconstructed, and that it's like we know we know he's not as perfect as he makes it out to be. And the fact that that we can come in and point out some flaws here and there.
They did that during TNG too, which was what was awesome about TNG, is that they kept on not making him a perfect captain. They kept on breaking and killing his family.
Dude.
There was a fire.
There was a fire. They killed the kid. And I'm like, ew, kill the kid. Like, Star Trek needs to stop killing the kids, by the way. Just like, it's a trend. It needs to stop this and the Igor and killing children. Let's stop this. Veto. Stop.
So like Hawk, when I heard this was happening, I was ridiculously stoked to have Picard and whoever was going to come back along with him back in any way was super exciting news. I had high hopes because he had said in interviews, and I know that Akiva Goldsman and Michael Chabon had both said that he wasn't going to come back unless it was the right story. So that automatically was like, okay, like this has got to be the right thing. So I was ridiculously excited, and we reviewed every single episode on our other podcast, Everything is Permitted, and it didn't live up to that hype, unfortunately.
I think we reviewed every episode too, and you could just hear us. Like I remember listening to both of ours, and we just got progressively sadder as the season went
exactly.
on.
Well, and then Nepenthe's thrown in there, right? And like throws us a little hope, and it's like, oh, never mind. But we're gonna get all into that. How we're gonna do this? First, we're gonna talk about the characters, then we'll go into the show and talk about it act by act. So like the first 3 episodes, and 4, 5, and 6, 7, 8, and then the finale. We'll talk worst moments. We'll We'll talk best moments, and then we'll wrap it up. But first, let's talk about characters. I did this in kind of an order of how they were shown on the screen, minus Jean-Luc and Data, who start the show. Laurice and Jabon, what did we think about these characters?
I like, these were 2 of my favorite characters. I like them because when they were introduced, they seemed like they were spies. And I like the idea that he was now helping former Romulan spies, and that they were there to help the story in a really cool way. But, that didn't end up happening. But when they were introduced, I thought that was really cool. They also seemed like the mom and dad of the show, even though Picard is older. I don't know. I really liked them at first, and then they sort of just stopped using them, and that sort of was shitty.
Yeah, it sucks that like Laurice didn't come on the ship, or either one of them, Laurice or Jabon. But yeah, Giraffe, what were you gonna say?
Knowing that Romulans age differently, right? They're most probably older than Picard. Let's be honest.
Touche.
Yeah.
Okay.
I really liked how they developed them, even if they stopped in the middle and just forgot their existence somehow, which was such a tragedy. I wanted more of them, but like at the beginning, I was like, "Are you kidding me?" It has like house people that are Romulan. That's so weird, you know. At the beginning, I was like, I don't like this, and then like they just like start like blasting with guns and being spies, and I was like, I can get behind this.
I love that they had his study like fully decked out with like undercover phasers, and Romulan disruptors don't have a stun setting.
And like they have like absolutely incredibly good lines too. Like the dialogues for them were absolutely perfect. That's why it's criminal that they just disappear after like 3 episodes and like okay.
They seem so important to him too, to just disappear, which was so weird.
Yep.
Somebody had to tend to the vineyard.
Yeah, good point.
He had robots.
I enjoyed the characters more so Laris than Jabon. In that, I'm a sucker for an Irish accent.
She's hot.
Yeah,
she's hot.
Did you see those new 10 forward photos? I did.
Yes. Yeah.
Nice. Great characters. But way underused in that. You know, I know Giraffe has a character that she thinks could have done without being in the series altogether. So maybe Laris would have been a great replacement for her.
Absolutely.
Yes, agreed. I'm a Laurice stan. Like I love Laurice. Jabon is Jabon. He's cool, but I love her so much, and I love the accent, and I love that she is like she is former Tal Shiar, right? But I especially love that moment in the series when like the Zhat Vash attack Picard, and I think Jabon actually like wants to torture the dude, and like I think she like just like gently like taps him on the nose, and he's like, "We're not like that anymore. We're not like that anymore," and then starts spraying him with like a flower bottle. And it's just like, I love her, and I'm so sad that she didn't go on the ship. Just absolutely devastating moment.
I did love how they represented how much times had changed, for Picard. Yeah, after the destruction of Romulus and that the fact that, here were these two people and that who Picard had befriended, and that, all his other encounters that we had seen in TNG had always been, I'm going to take your ship back as a prize.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. Let's talk about Daj and Soji together because they go hand in hand. They're twins. What did we think about the introduction of the two androids?
They were cool. I like that she was in the first episode, the first twin, which I can't remember. Daj, right? Daj. Yeah. She was slowly uncovering her android programming, and then there was all these mysteries. She was a big enigma that I really liked that they were slowly unraveling. And then she died. And you're like, oh shit, we're going here, aren't we? And then we find out she has a sister. But I really liked how they showed the potential of her really, I don't want to say really fast, but over the course of that episode. And then you realize that the twin has not gotten to that point and will slowly get to that point.
Right.
Although I don't know if she fully gets there by the end. She sort of does.
By the end, she does, I think. Yeah. She just chooses to go a different path.
She was neat. I like Soji a lot, despite, mind melds and other weird things that happen to her.
Oh my God.
Throughout the episode. Generally, I like the actress was very good. She was compelling enough that I didn't get bored with her character.
Yeah, Briones. Yeah.
Although the last couple, we'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there.
We'll get there. Don't worry.
Giraffe.
Yeah.
I like the first one better.
She seemed more badass, right?
Taj. She's smarter. She finds Picard.
Yeah.
She comes to him. She fights. She has a boyfriend who's not a crazy Romulan agent, whatever. Like she seems to have better taste.
He was Zahian. It was so cool.
Yeah. she seems to have better taste, to be smarter, to have like her shit together, you know. And I'm like, yeah, I want to know more about her. And then they just kill her, and we start not at 0 again. We start at like minus 200 to Soji. And it's like, no, why? Sorry, that was loud. And Soji is good, but at some time I'm like, be more like your sister. You know, when like she's on Nepente and she's all like, I'm an android. I was like, I'd be leaving to know that I am an android. I'm gonna live forever. I have superhuman strength.
Maybe these
I know
androids
everything.
Yeah. Daj got beat up. Like she got disintegrated. Just they disintegrated her
cool.
molecules.
Yeah.
Like we saw Soji like go through a freaking
That's true.
ceiling.
She went through a bulkhead. Good point.
So I just they tempted us with Dash so much, and I was really into her, and then they let me down again.
Yeah.
So
Fair.
Sorry.
Hawk.
I love them both. I'm gonna say, like, you know, I guess Dodge had a little bit of an advantage in that over, you know, Soji, because, you know, she got attacked in her apartment by Job Fosh agents and that. So really, you know, she had a good catalyst for getting, you know,
getting right to the point.
It was like
getting right
protocols just turned on.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I still love that scene in that, you know, it's like, even as frightening as it is in that, but like, you know, with a bag over her head, and that takes out 3 or 4
of them. That was
3 or 4 of them.
Fight.
I especially love that moment during the fight too, where they're speaking Romulan, and one of them's like, "You idiots, speak English or speak basic." Like, yeah, or standard, whatever the fuck they call it in Star Trek. Standard, yeah, Federation standard,
basic.
Basic. Star Wars. Yeah, I gotta agree with Draft. Like, I loved Dodge. Like, I thought she was such a great character, and I love every interaction that she has with John Luke. She's so much the opposite of Soji, where Soji just never really, like, even until the finale, and then does she still not fully trust him? Like, never really trusts him. Whereas like Dodge put her life in his hands, and that would have been a really cool story to explore. It's a little sad that they just, you know, knock her off in the first episode.
They did that yin yang thing where one was like super strong,
and it's so disappointing too, because the whole Soji, and we're going to talk about this more, Soji Narek thing was just so disjointed and so uncomfortable, and it didn't work for me. Speaking of things that didn't work, let's move on to Dr. Agnes Girardi,
which is funny because I fucking love her. I do. I like Alison Pill as an actress, and
me too.
The fact, like, I like that she was such a nerdy, smart person that unfortunately got broken down and then had to, you know, climb her way up through all that shit. But like, despite what she had to do, I liked her acting enough that I could throw away a little bit of the shittiness, but I still liked her in general. Yeah. Even now, like, even after I watched it again, I was like, oh, cool. She's that quirky person that I really like on the bridge, even though she is sort of that double agent that gets a little bit cliche. Yeah. And she did end up getting to do like a lot of that cliche stuff, which sort of sucked.
Yeah. Giraffe's already given eyes.
Look at these intense look on her face.
Eyes.
I know I'm like the only person I know that generally likes her.
I'm like halfway.
I love Alison Pill. Like, let's start with this. So again, I'm gonna use that word again. It's criminal, the character they wrote for her. I don't know. I'm most probably they wrote the character first and then they casted her. I don't know, but like, you know this joke in The Big Bang Theory where one of them say, you know, Indiana Jones The Last Crusade. Yes. If Indiana Jones does nothing, it's still the same story, and nothing changes. And I'm like, you're thinking about it. Think about it. It's true.
No,
if he doesn't get involved,
we know that.
But no. So things would have changed because she's the one that kills that doctor dude, right? He might not have died.
Yeah, but, okay.
He might not have died, but he still would have taken them to the synth planet, and the events probably would have played out the same. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they don't, she doesn't kill him. He takes them to the planet and the same thing happens kind of. And it's just that she is so helpless all the time. And I think I can't with people in life that make themselves be helpless all the time. Like, I don't know how to do it. I don't know what that is. You have 5 PhD women. Get your shit in order and act. I
You're
don't
like
know.
the lead scientist at the Daystrom Institute. Yeah.
Yeah, she's the lead scientist at the Daystrom Institute. And say like, am I now? Yes. Like, who are you that you don't know how these things work? I am like not even in Star Trek and I know how these things work. Like, what?
That's our job as fans, Giraffe.
Yeah,
I
but
wonder
okay, she works.
I wonder how widely known, like, or how much people would know how mind melds would have worked.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Especially if
we
they're
had,
stuck
like,
just
Spock.
on Earth or something.
We had Spock for like 3 seasons of TOS.
We did, but she
mind
might
melded
not
literally
have.
with everything on every planet and everybody, and the Daystrom Institute doesn't know about this.
Maybe just her.
What?
Maybe she's just
Yeah,
like staying in her
okay,
room.
And then she has it on the ship. She's on the ship and she's like, "Oh, space. Oh, it's so empty. What should we do?" Oh, I can't. Every time she talks, I can't. I just can't. I'm
Zandera wrote, they made her barf a lot after O's mind meld, after Cake foaming after the tracker deactivation. Like, I hope she got paid for the physical acting.
like she barfs like red velvet. She foams at the mouth. I mean, like she's like half dying like every single episode. Every single episode. And I have one huge hang up. It's like that flirt thing between her and Rios. Absolutely not. No.
Yeah.
No.
That I agree with too.
I forgot about that. That was weird.
Yep. Hawk.
Good actor, bad character. Like that's pretty much how I could put it down for Agnes. And that, like, where do I begin? I mean, like the fact that the fact that this a Vulcan officer that put mind melds and puts this terrifying image into her mind and yet she still seems to go along with everything in that, she's
right.
It's weird. It's a weird plot hole too, because like this, the same thing that was in her mind, even though it was secondhand and she didn't actually have like the abomination or whatever the hell it was called. Like all those they all like ripped their faces off and killed each other. You're telling me that a human saw that and didn't like just go jump off the cliff at Daystrom? Like
a human who is scared by every single hologram in the ship every single time they pop up.
Maybe she wouldn't have gotten scared if she didn't get that.
And not just Romulans either in that. I mean, like the Jacques Bosch had chosen these people because they were the best of the best, right? And it's like, okay, this is this is going to challenge you on every level in that, no matter what you've done beforehand and that this is, a lot of you are not going to survive this. She throws up.
Maybe she was mentally strong before that moment, and then everything that happened afterwards just went. I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt.
What are you doing?
Sorry, Hawk.
I love Alison Pill. I loved her in Newsroom, Scott Pilgrim, whatever. I'm like half and half on Girardi. Like there are moments that I really enjoyed her, but I've watched it twice over now, and I just don't like her more. Like each time I watch it, which is not good. Like the character just gets worse. And I had like one of my buddies when Picard first came out was like, the show is okay, but like I cannot take Alison Pill, and I'm like, I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt, kind of like Eric. But the more I watch it, I'm just like. Giraffe makes that great point about like this show could have been very much the same without her. Like there were too many people on the ship and she just seemed like filler and more of like comic relief, which I think is something said in the chat. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. Hopefully she's better in season 2.
Can I put a little like dent to that too? Having a woman being helpless when she is a top scientist as a comic relief is bullshit. We should not be doing that in 2021. Thank you.
That's flip-flopping on the character in that. Sometimes she's tough in that, and then all of a sudden she goes back to being scared. Mm-hmm. Like, when at the chateau in that, she kills the last Romulan guy in that, and it's like comes in with the guns, like kind of holding it so daintily.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then like, oh, I hope that was on stun.
Yeah.
Zanzara in our Twitch chat wrote, I like the idea that the admonition absolutely broke her. Trauma can rewrite the brain. That's where I'm going from. That's where I'm coming from. That's right, Giraffe. That's where I'm coming from.
Wait, she was like, oh, you're gonna set on fire the cookies before the admonition. Okay, so please. Okay.
No one wants burnt cookies, my friend.
Cooking.
No one wants
That's
burnt
a good
cookies.
point. Burnt cookies are gross.
She didn't know that cooking existed. She thought that food just came from replicator, and she's a scientist.
Man,
come on.
Replicate, man. If I had a replicator, I would be eating that poop food too.
It's pretty good for shit. Speaking of trauma, and I feel like some unnecessary trauma that happened in the show. Let's talk about Narek. What did we think about him, Eric?
Hot.
I remember you had the hots for him.
Yes, I like Narek.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
He was my show boyfriend. I liked him. He was an interesting character. He was he wavered that line of good and bad throughout the whole show, even though we knew he was bad mostly. And we'd never really. I don't want to say that. We seem to have gotten to know him more than most Romulan characters, and he seemed different than anything we'd really seen. So
agreed.
I like the way that he played off his sister as well. So yeah, I really liked him the whole way through. Hot.
Giraffe.
So first of all, slap on anybody's ears and like make them bleed green, and I'm gonna be about it. Like let's
and then add the accent,
like,
my friend. The accent.
Yeah, so first of all, I love the actor Harry Treadaway from Penny Dreadful, where he plays the Dr. Frankenstein. So I was so glad that he was in there. And in my first watching of the show, I was so pissed at so many things that I forgot it existed. And then I was like, I'm gonna rewatch that show and just watch the Romulans, and I really liked it, especially because. Again, and I've said that again and again, thank you, New Trek, for giving us men eye candy. Undress them, put them in a bed, make them sweat, make them like go die hard. I'm about it. Thank you. You got 7 in like these cat suits for so long. Now it's our turn. Yes, more. And I like the character too. I like the fact that every single time he's here, you do not know what he's gonna do.
Yeah.
Like,
he did some really good things and some terrible things.
Yeah.
Exactly. You're like, is he bad? Is he good? Is he gonna kill her? Oh, he's killing her.
Is he a Romulan?
He doesn't want to kill her. Like there's so many things going on. I like when I don't know what the bad guys are gonna do. When they're not predictable, and he's definitely not predictable until the last episode. Even in the last episode, you still don't know. It's like, does he really love her? Is he lying? Is that his real name?
I think that he really did love her. The tears when he puts her in the I forget the name of the ritual, but when he puts her in that room and starts the radiation, like he's full on crying. So I think he did love her. Yeah.
Oh, he's just pretending.
Yeah,
See, it's a good thing.
Great actor, great villain for a Star Trek series. Now, I actually, Narek was probably one of my favorite characters from this. The whole question about whether or not he did love Soji or not, and that he was a spy through and through. I don't know how many of you are fans of The Americans and that, but like,
yes,
watch the first couple seasons. That's a great show. Yeah,
that spies have to, when they're after like something, they put themselves in relationships and that, and they have to put their heart and souls into those relationships. And that, I mean, the one guy, Philip, married another woman.
And they do end up, and it does end up being real love, even if they do have to turn on them. Like that's totally a thing.
Yeah. So like that was completely plausible in that, and that probably that like right up to the right up until like he did the turn at the meditation room, and that like that whole storyline was incredible. How he just slowly worked her until he got what he needed.
Yeah, agreed.
I just have a video about the going shoeless into the ball cube, and
we don't talk about that scene. We don't talk about that scene. That's like we don't talk about Bruno. We don't talk about the slide. No.
Thunder.
Told me I'd get assimilated the next day. Borg. Okay, that's enough. That's enough Encanto.
I have to watch this movie.
It's so good.
It's so good. Narek is the most improved for me after my rewatch. I hated Narek the first time I watched it. I hated him. Thought he was awful. Second time I watched it through, still thought he was awful. I could never forgive the Borg slide scene, which we don't talk about. Watching it this time on our Discord with everybody, I'm like, okay, I see, like, I get it more. And like when he cries, like I feel that more, and I understand like that he was on a mission, and even though he maybe wasn't as much like behind that mission as Narissa, like he did not want to do what he did, and he still had to do it for duty and, you know, the honor of the Romulan Empire. So most improved. Like I really liked him this time around.
It's that line at the end. Oh, sorry. Do you want to go first? Or okay,
No.
it's that line in the very last episode that where he says, like, you know, he talks about how he was basically the family outcast and the black sheep, and that, you know, and a washed out Jacques Foch agent.
Yeah, exactly.
He was somebody with something to prove.
Yeah.
And for me, it's when I read all the thing that I'm gonna butcher his name again, Michael Chabon. It's too French, so I want to say it in French. That's why. Everything he wrote about the backstory of the character, and I know we should not need that it should be in the show, but the whole thing he wrote about like Narek's family and the Romulan society, that's what made me rewatch the season 1.
Listen, he didn't end up being a great showrunner, but the lore that he wrote was pretty fucking cool. So yeah. I do give him credit for that.
And Xandara has a good point. We talked about this together before, that he's like kind of a direct line from the Romulan commander in the Enterprise incident. Like, you know, walking her way into seducing Spock.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know if she's like really into it or not. And like, it's interesting. I like what they did.
Yeah. Guys, we got to run through these a little faster because we're never going to get to the actual show review. So we'll just go with Admiral Clancy real quick. We should only be saying one thing about her, and that's sheer fucking hubris. Real quick.
Sheer fucking hubris.
Meh. I didn't care for her. I thought she should have been Janeway.
Agreed.
Agreed. That's what I was gonna say.
I'm done.
It should have been Admiral Janeway. Period. End of story. Agreed. I do like her line. That's the one thing I'll say when Picard's like, "I told you I was right, and you have to send a fleet," and blah, and she tells him to shut the fuck up. I love that. It's like,
but imagine if Janeway did that.
It would have been even better. You're right.
Oh, that would be so good.
It would have been so good. All right.
Incredible.
All right, guys. This is the moment. I hope Yum Yum Pod is watching tonight. If not, then maybe watch the next ride. But Commodore O.
Shit. You know.
Yes.
And Narissa.
That was so good. So good.
Commodore O and Narissa.
Was cool. She was neat. I wish they used her more. Narissa was the like zealot that I wanted to see on the show. And
agreed.
She
100% about Narissa. Yeah.
Yes. I think that my problem with O was she's great, amazing. The sunglasses move. I know everybody was pissed, but that day when I saw that show, I was like, I knew it. These bling bling motherfuckers would wear sunglasses for no reason. I know this. So my problem is that she does the mind meld, and then they go, "Oh, she's a Romulan," and then they go back saying she's half Vulcan. I was like, they have to stop because they're trying to fix their bullshit like Kanan last minute. Like,
no, I mean we always knew that she was half Vulcan and half Romulan from the start. Like,
no, they drop it way later.
I didn't realize.
No, I feel like I knew. Oh, I don't know. I feel like I knew.
No. They say she's Vulcan. Okay, they say she's Vulcan, full Vulcan. Then they realize she's Jadvash, and they're like, "Oh, she's a Romulan." And then they were like, "Oh, she should not be able to do a mind meld if she's a Romulan." So they go, "The half Vulcan commander," and I was like, "Get out of here! Get out of here!" And Narissa is epic. I wanted her to be more developed and less psychotic in the idea that. I think all Romulans are psychotic, and they should know how to hide that better, including her. So that's the thing. That's for me. And I see nowhere you don't speak about their aunt that I love deeply.
She's like a guest star in that. Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
Not much on O. The few scenes that we do have with her in that, she comes off very wooden in that. And obviously that's the character, the Vulcan and Romulan and everything in that. So she, and then the general at the end, facing down Riker. Narissa though was great, just pure villain, pure evil, just like so out in the open in that. So you never question her motives, and
Mhm.
great
Agreed.
character, great actress in that. I had totally forgotten that was Jane from Mad Men.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So, Commodore, to this day, always she is one of the worst written characters ever in any series of television ever. She was
Hot
her.
take.
I hate to. I don't like to comment on acting unless I absolutely have to. But I thought her acting was so bland and boring. Like it was like Romulan villain number one in the end credits. Bad. Like her lines in the season finale. Like I don't know who directed and let her get away with that, but it bothered me so much.
I'm more worried that they made her act like that.
I hope not,
Yeah.
man. I hope not.
Yeah.
She
Because
did look
it's
cool on her
steady
ship,
across
though.
all of it.
Yeah.
And it's that
Yeah.
weird.
I don't know. And then Narissa is the better sibling. I love Narissa. I want more of Narissa. I really hope she's not dead because she was awesome. And I know everybody's all creeped
didn't
out
see the
by
body.
we didn't see the body.
Didn't see the
And she has
body.
the weird personal transporter thing that she could do. I know people are like creeped out by her whole like weird kind of like incesty relationship with Narek, but I found the whole thing super fascinating.
That was very Shakespearean. Which was
Yeah,
what I
it
liked.
was. And yeah, exactly. I loved it. Her. I want more. Give me more Peyton List, please.
Mhm.
Raffi.
I didn't like her at first, but I ended up liking her by the end. That's it.
Giraffe.
Going too fast. I have so many things to say about Raffi.
No, you take your time. You're good.
No, okay, same. I didn't like her at the beginning. I was like, and then I do like the fact that. So I didn't like her at the beginning because I was like, oh, you're gonna make the black woman an addict. I was like,
And
you know,
a
I was
broken
like,
person, I didn't
kind
like
of-
that either.
and a broken person, and I was like, ugh, you know. But then I think they wrote her very well. She's complex. The acting is impeccable. She evolves so much. The scene between her and her son is so good.
It's like
So
one of my least
terrible
favorite
and
scenes in the
so
show.
good. But it's made well. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Star Trek, I've had these characters of addicts before, holodeck addicts. I mean, like we have like this kind of like
Video game
weird
addicts.
addiction, video game addicts, you know. But I think they tackled the subject in a not terrible way, which is difficult to do. I don't say it's good. I just say it's not terrible. And I'm looking forward to see what she's gonna do and how she's going to evolve and how she's gonna be. I hope she's gonna be more relevant to the plot.
Yeah. I
She's a bit like
yeah. I want to add that I like that her story, her arc with her son, like being not part of her life anymore, and then her and Elnor. I like that those mirrored off each other. I really like that.
That's fair. Hawk.
Yeah, I kind of had those same reservations when I first saw, watching that. I remember we were definitely commenting during our first watch of the season on that. Yeah, Raffi's not our favorite in that, but yeah, it's a much more complex role in that. It's like nobody likes to have to play a drug addict, in a series and that, but at the same time, it was that scene. When she has to ask for the letter of recommendation from her former buddy in that, where it's like she doesn't want to do it and she needs a drink to get through it, and then she pulls her face on and gets through it and then just that crushed way she's walking away. Michelle Hurd really kills it.
She's a
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
She's a great actor. Yeah, so Raffi is like my second most improved from my rewatches. I didn't like Raffi at all. My first rewatch, I didn't like the character, but I read Last Best Hope after, and then and there was something else. Well, okay, so this is like I'm trying to not like because we can't talk about it till tomorrow, but there are things from the first 3 episodes of season 2 that I think have like helped me enjoy her character more rewatching season 1, and that is vague and it has to be, unfortunately, but watching it again this series, I really enjoyed her. And then I just finished listening to No Man's Land, the audio drama with Raffi and Seven. So like I'm on board with Raffi now. I could have done without the scene with her son simply because the show took too many left turns, like way too many, and it seemed like it was just another unnecessary like time filler. If we got that more like in a novel, which we might get more of when her book comes out later this year, we'll see. But yeah, again, another improved character. Let's move on to Captain Cristobal Rios.
My favorite character because he's amazing. Again, a good-looking man.
Yes.
I love that he. I love that he broke his personality down into those holograms, and that was sort of a way that I like him as an actor because each of those people seem different, and I just like them a lot. He's the Han Solo of this series, and I like Han Solo. His relationship with Agnes was weird.
Yeah. Okay.
Can do without, please. Thank you.
You know what's better than one hot man? It's when you get to see him
2
5 times.
No,
with different accents.
Oh, the different accents.
Different accents, different clothes,
different hair.
Sometimes he's very clean. Sometimes he's like wear tattoos, and I'm like, yes, more. I'm telling you, there's no story to that first season. It's you just watch it for like, eye candy. It's the only reason. I love Rios. I love his story. I love his arc. I like the fact that you slowly get to know him. And the first time you see him, he has like a humongous thing like stuck in his shoulder. And I'm like, power move. Like this
total Mariner move too by having him the hollow leave the scar, right? Like nope,
smoking his cigar, reading a book, and like
pouring whiskey on it.
It's like I'm like incredible. They from the beginning they told us that it was going to be a ride, and he is a ride. So I cannot wait to see him in season 2. I'm really impatient to know more about him because. Same, the trauma, his story. You see him like opening the box with like the picture. You have a good character that is well written, and I don't need to read 16 pages about his backstory to just love him in the show, and that's great.
Yeah, Hawk.
Great actor, great character. One of the best things you can do is read Rogue Elements, and that helps really fill out some of the backstory. Like I like that book. I
like the Rio, like even though it's a Rio's book, like I like the backstory elements of that book. The rest of the book I could have done without, but getting to know him was like the best part about that book. Yeah. My favorite character of the series, like of the new characters, like Eric, like I love him. I love that he is, even though he'll never admit it, like what Picard says, and we'll talk about this later, like he's still very much Starfleet, even though he's like a pirate now. I really like that. I love all the fucking hollows. They make me laugh every single time. The only thing I don't like about Rios is La Serena, and that's it. The inside's cool. The outside leaves something to be desired. But that's let's move on. Elnor.
Yeah.
Elnor, I really liked Elnor. He was like a cool little. He was hot.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Sorry. I was gonna get to that. Another good-looking man with a sword this time.
Yes.
He was the one that really perked my interest. Like I really like ninjas, and he was the ninja on board. And I was just like, he's cool. I like his story. I like that he was someone that was part of Picard's past, and that father-son relationship that he sort of had with Picard was really fun to watch throughout the season.
Absolute Candor is like a really good. That's like one of the good episodes of the series. Dreff.
So
Murder Bay.
Murder Bay.
Yeah.
So one more very hot man on that show. So thank you again. Will be I'm very thankful. Do you see this? The story sucks, but I'm very thankful for everything I get to see. The costume is incredible. And I like the fact that he's really motivating my theories. My theories. My theories. Yeah. because I'm like, we know the fact that Picard has problem with kids and he doesn't like kids, but somehow he's sad that he doesn't have a kid. And then out of all the Romulans that are losing their planet, out of all these people that are displaced, what's up with that kid, this one, that he chooses this one and goes and gives him presents
because he reminds him of Renee.
And
Without the
brings
fire.
him to the co-op millet.
Damn it.
Because he doesn't.
Damn it.
He doesn't.
Damn it.
Come on. What is this?
Oh,
Fire and brimstone.
So he doesn't want that kid to be educated by like any random psychopathic Romulan family. He gives that kid to the co-op millet. Okay. So he's somebody. I'm sure he's somebody. Make it. Is Stella's hair. Is Spock love's child. Is, I don't know, Picard's love child. Who knows? He's somebody. I know he is.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, again, great actor, great character. I loved Elnor in that. You know, it's like, you know, in a cast of characters that are all pretty much just these broken people in that, you know, he is like at once a deadly killer in that, but also a sweet kid in that, you know, like you're raised in this, you know, order of nuns and that for all his life and that, you know,
Murder nuns.
It's just, yeah,
I love
murder
the co-op a lot.
nuns.
Yeah, murder
Because
nuns.
he's a murder bay.
Yep.
He
Fair. They
never
are murder
lose-
nuns. Yep.
He never loses that childlike appeal in that as a character in that. And, you know, and there are some great action scenes with him. And, you know, the whole thing, the courtyard and that, an absolute candor scene, you know,
Oh, don't worry, Eric. Don't worry.
3 people in 4 seconds, bro.
We're gonna talk about that. We
Yeah.
are. Yeah. I know a lot of people that don't like Elnor. Like a lot of people, and I don't get it because I love his whole relationship with John Luke. It brings so much like what you guys were talking about the fact that it was maybe too late for him to have children, and it's maybe the closest thing that he's ever gonna have. And I love the relationship. I love his Evan Longoria, great actor. Nothing but good things to say about Elnor. 7 of 9, The Return.
Hot? Is that the first thing I'm supposed to say? That's the first thing I was supposed to say. There we go. I love her evolution from when we last saw her, which was, you know, with what's his name? Chakotay, to this badass person. I loved her arc throughout the season. I like that she's a Fenris Ranger, which was a new thing that I never knew I wanted. That first the casino episode where she just fucking murders that one lady. I was like,
Love that
fucking
scene.
hell.
Bejazel.
Bejazel.
That was amazing.
Which took me two rewatches to realize was not Vajazel.
And then we get to see her as a Borg queen for a short period of time, which was fucking awesome.
It was such a great scene.
Yeah, I like her. I like her a lot, and she's amazing. Amazing.
So
Yeah.
because I didn't read anything about Picard because I was not really excited about it, I watched every single episode not knowing who was going to be on the episode because I was totally like not interested in it, but it's still Trek, so I'm still gonna watch it, right? So when she beams in, I was like, because I was the last person on Earth.
You owe me a
to
ship,
not
Picard.
to not know that she was gonna be on Picard.
Yep.
And then my head started like spinning. I was like, maybe we're gonna see, you know, Tom Paris. Maybe we're gonna see Harry Kim. Like I love Voyager, so I was really, really excited. And again, thank you. I think we were talking about it with the Promenade Merchant. I don't remember what we were talking about. I don't remember what I was going to say. I forgot. Sorry. Again, I like that.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Okay. I know now. Sorry, I'm tired. I like that Picard season 1 gave real characters, like real plot to some of the 90s characters. Deanna Troi and 7 of 9. these two characters finally have a real story with real lines, with real thing to do, like real human being, not being in a cat suit, not being pretty, not having their boobs out. Like, that was great. And just for that, I mean, I love to see more 7 of 9 for sure, but especially because now she's a real character, like 100% a real character.
Agreed. Zandera on Twitch wrote a great comment. She straight up drove the Borg cube to go save Picard. Like, just hero moves. Hawk, go ahead.
What more can I say?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I know. It's like, yeah, more. Give us more. I say.
Give us Janeway and 7, you cowards.
I know.
Right.
That should have been the relationship they ended the series on.
I just had crazy deja vu. Oh, wow. Weird. Probably because we've had this conversation before. Great to see her back. The scene with her and Icheb is heartbreaking and maybe a bit unnecessary every single time, but I'll take it because it is heart-wrenching. Killing Bejazal's just amazing. Again, I like Giraffe. I'm a huge Voyager fan. I mean, listen, like, I'm just a 90s Trek stan because I was like in that peak generation of people who watch it. So 7 of 9 is like one of my favorite characters of all time. So seeing her just like be the dude, I get goosebumps every single time I see the scene where the injectors go into her back and she becomes the Borg queen and her eyes turn black. And I'm just like, And
then that booming voice, and we are
Borg. Oh wow, we went in sync there, and that was kind of scary. I love it. Moving on to another XB, and this is XBs. Sad. I know. Hugh.
I liked seeing him come back, and it was awesome to see him grown up. I'm sad.
Yeah.
Because I liked him as a character on TNG, and then the way he ends, you know, it's a heroic-ish ending. But I really liked that he was helping other Borgs. That seemed proper for his character, and
it did. That 100%.
That was it. Yeah.
Giraffe.
So I'm not good at TNG because I didn't
That's
like
fair.
TNG so much. So when he showed up again, I didn't know who he was. Like, I was really into Ishab. I was like, oh, that's Ishab. But Hugh was like, they talk to him like I'm supposed to know him. So that's where I went Memory Alpha, and I was like, oh, he's the guy from iBorg. Okay. But I definitely didn't have like the same emotional attachment to him than all of you. So when they kill him, I was just like, oh no. I mean, like, I was sadder because Elnor failed to what he was supposed to do.
Yeah.
Come on, Murder Bay.
Seeing Twitch right now, everybody's just like, oh, sad, pain.
Yeah.
Sorry. But so that's sorry.
So iBorg is probably one of the most powerful episodes of TNG. One of the top 10, I would say. I will fight whoever disagrees with that. And Jonathan DeLarco being, coming back as Hugh was just amazing. And he played it so well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still angry about like how
I'm really angry.
Tossed away the character that could,
the one thing Narissa did that I did not like.
Oh, I know.
That made me hate her, but I think that was the point.
Right? Hugh. That moment where they hug and he, like, the XBs are saving him, and it's like, it's so nice to see a friendly face, that moment, and him, like, Hugh consoling Picard during like a really bad case of PTSD, right? Like, this is like Jean-Luc's worst fear come true. And one of the only two people to really experience what he's been through, Hugh and also 7 of 9, to be there to help him through that is such a great moment. I see everybody saying it on Twitch, and I agree. Like, this is one of the things that makes me really not like season 1. Like, it was just an unnecessary death. Like, I know why they, like, I know people get upset that they killed Ichib too. Like, I know why they did that. I get that. That makes more sense to me, even though it was a really brutal scene, than killing Hugh. Like, it just didn't need to happen. That's where I am with that. Finally, before we actually get into the arc of the season, will Deanna and Kestra, the Rikers.
My favorite people on the show. They were so good. Anytime Will and Deanna, they were like the perfect evolution of those characters. The perfect evolution.
Perfection.
And Kestra was the person that I was the most intrigued with the whole series. And I just wanted to see her the whole time. After she showed up, I was just like, I just want to show with them. That's all I wanted. I love the mystery with their son, which we found out more about in the book that we had read. I can't remember what it's called.
Dark Veil.
Dark Veil.
Yeah, yep. Which was awesome. And I would love to see that be a series. Man, Will is such a badass. And even though they had the copy and paste fleet at the end, he was still a badass while he did it. Yeah. God damn. I love those three. They were the best. I would even just watch a cooking show with Will Riker and his family.
Food Network, make it happen.
God damn.
Jeff.
I'm gonna be this person again.
There's gonna be fighting words for the rest of us.
No, I love Will and Deanna. I'm gonna say it again. I love the fact that Deanna is a real person now and a real woman with like other things to say than I sense you're sad. So I'm really happy that they developed her and they show her more as a badass and she's wearing normal clothes and all this. I do not care about their kids. None of them.
Oh, man.
Maybe it's because I spend a lot of time with kids and I think that kids are very poorly written in Star Trek because they do not act like kids. Never, ever.
Oh, I thought she acted like it because she was such a kid. She was such a kid.
Yeah.
Speaking from someone who's, I think Kestra's a little bit older than our kids.
Yeah.
But still, like
she had the energy of them.
Yeah.
Like
yeah. All three.
Yeah. Put all three of my kids together. That's Kestra.
I did not connect in Dark Veil. All the moments where they're speaking about their son, I just said that next.
Oh, those are heartbreaking moments.
Kestra, I didn't care.
I'm fine with most of your hot takes in this podcast, but this one breaks my heart.
It's not a hot take. It's not a hot take.
I don't know, man. The chat may disagree.
I'm not saying they should be out of the show. I'm not saying they're poorly written or like terrible or the acting is terrible. No, I don't care for them. Like they could not be here and I'd be absolutely fine. And wouldn't be like, oh, I wanted to see their kids. And the things like both of their kids. I literally just want
a Kestra show.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, are like so out there. Like, what are these kids? What did like?
Okay, Giraffe. Literally, her parents are Will Riker, who's like the biggest explorer at heart. He's like the Nathan Drake of Star Trek, and Deanna Troi is also like pretty fucking creative. Like, I don't know. I get where their creativity comes from. They grew up on starships.
Yeah,
like, I get it.
Yeah, I don't know. I know a lot of like expat kids that like live everywhere and nowhere, and I didn't connect with. True.
Sorry, Jeff.
Yeah. I'm just. I'm very glad. I want to see more of Will and more of Deanna.
I don't think you do.
Keep their kids like in the kindergarten or somewhere. I don't want kids in my track.
Wait. So you just want Rutherford to do that holodeck simulation and throw him out the airlock?
Yeah, I don't want kids in my track. I want murder bays and hot remolins. Thank you.
Hawk. Will, Deanna, and Kestra.
The most welcome return of the series, I think. Will is just great. He's just this huge teddy bear in that, but like at the same time, he's still a badass. Deanna's fantastic. There's that little moment when she and Picard first meet in the episode and she knows exactly what's happening.
Yeah,
see her face crumbling. And by the way, Deanna, I know she was poorly written sometimes in TNG and that, but Face of the Enemy, she was a fucking badass in that.
That was such a great episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
And Kestra is fantastic. She's basically just a wildling.
She totally is. Wild girl of the woods. Will Riker. What else can I say about this man? He's my favorite Star Trek character. So this is the moment in Picard where I wanted a Will Riker show more than I wanted a Picard show. Seeing Deanna back was just a treat. The fact also that Will became a man who just cooks one of my favorite foods in the world was also bonus points. But he was still, again, like, you know, Hawk said, a badass. Like, he's still Commander Riker or Captain Riker. The minute Jean-Luc comes in, he's like, shields up, perimeter scan, and it's just it's so awesome. Kestra is probably my favorite character, like new character that they introduced in the series. Like, she had one episode to like bring like that character into our hearts and make, like, dude, when Trek Twitter was introduced to her, like everybody was just like, Will Riker show, give us Kestra, give us those stories. She's amazing. Loved her.
I'm just looking at
Giraffe rolling
Giraffe.
her eyes.
She's just like,
Guys, let's get into the actual meat of the show. We'll just spend a little bit of time going through each act here. Same order. We'll go with Act 1, which is episodes 1, 2, and 3. The introduction of Daj, the Romulan plot to, you know, do Romulan things, meeting Soji, and then Jean-Luc, which felt like it took more than 3 episodes, finally getting Spacebound. Eric, your thoughts on Act 1?
I remember the first time I watched this, I was sitting there, it's like, why aren't they in space yet? I think the second time I liked it a little bit more because it felt like Picard on the holodeck trying to be a detective. And I remember liking that a lot on TNG, and he did it well in this. Like, he is a cosplayer, like, he is a cosplayer, and he didn't have to change outfits for this adventure that he went on. I thought the first episode was really, really good. It actually hooked me the first time I watched it. The first half of this show is actually the best part for me. And I really like the arc of the first 3, like finding out everything and then needing to go off into space to go on this adventure and grabbing that little bit of crew. I liked it.
Draft.
I really like the fact that we are in this time where people don't trust the Federation anymore. That's something that has been hinted in many different like episodes and all these little things.
All throughout TNG.
Yeah.
And Deep Space Nine to a point,
Yeah, and you see it in Discovery too with Section 31 and this like little thing going around, you know. And I really like the fact that Picard, at the beginning, you don't know if he's senile or mad. You know, this moment where when he speaks to the camera, and you're like, "What is going on?"
It's that yesterday's Enterprise feeling. You're like,
yeah, where you're like, "Is like, what do like?" You know, you need to catch up. So I like the mystery. And again, I suck at TNG, so I had to rewatch so many episodes because I didn't know what they were talking about. So I like that we have like this aging captain that, you know, has to face all this. I do think that the first time I watched it, because I watched one episode after one episode after one episode, I wanted to die because it was going nowhere. And you're like, oh, come on, just make it happen. Stop signing papers. And so I do think that as a whole, again, this first act works well when you know the whole story, but not by itself.
Yeah. And when you can stream each one after each other, it's not as painful. I forgot to say that the first scene of the first episode with blue skies and the dream sequence, I fucking love that. Seeing the Enterprise D in like a gorgeous high res, man.
Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah. Huck.
I thought the first 3 episodes they really set a beautiful stage for Picard at this point in his life, in like, you know, 94 and that. Yes, the opening scene with Data and that, you know, it's like probably, you know, one of the single biggest regrets of his life, and that, you know, was how, you know, Data being taken out of his life. The fact that, you know, he's, you know, just an old man back at the chateau, you know, it's like, you know, this is how you know he was hurt. And that after the Borg hurt him back in, you know, best of both worlds, and that the first place he went to was home, and that to heal. And apparently it's, you know, he figured like he was just gone back there to die. And then like the introduction of Soji and the possibility that Data might have actually had an offspring, you know, these were great elements in that, you know, we'll get to the rest of it later. But I thought it set a beautiful stage in that, especially for a Captain Picard who did not have the power of that uniform behind him anymore.
Yeah, and was kind of like a little bit disgraced and regarded as like a hermit by Starfleet, right? Yeah. So if you've been following along on our Discord doing our watch along the past few days, everybody knows, and I think I talked about this maybe like a year ago. I have a very strong feeling that the producers and the writers and all of the people involved with making the show wrote it in the assumption that this was going to be the Star Trek show that was going to be released all at once, because it's filmed that way. It ends that way during every single episode. I think the folks at Paramount Plus, which was at the time still CBS All Access, were like, no, we need to keep subscribers, so we're going to release this episode by episode. And it 100% feels that way. The first episode, fucking fantastic, right? Like, I will never say anything bad about the first episode. Hook, line, and sinker. I'm in. Jean-Luc Picard's back. This is a very different character. I'm into it. Daj and her introduction is very exciting. Seeing a Borg cube under Romulan control, like, okay, I'm here for it. By the time you get to episodes 2 and 3, if you're not binging it that first time, right? It's just like, will you get the fuck to space? This is Star Trek, not Earth Trek. Okay. Like, let's go. So Act 1 is like a mixed bag for me. I really do enjoy that first episode, but too many different moving parts. And the Soji and Narek relationship was very, very weird, even though, we don't, I think we start to get that in episodes 2 and 3. It just was, this is a show, and I think everybody also agrees with this on Discord, on Twitch, needs to be binged, and it does work better binge. And I think that was always the intent. Speaking of moving to Act 2, episodes 4, 5, and 6, this is going to, can't remember the name of the planet. Someone on Twitch might be able to help me out. Going to pick up Elnor in Absolute Candor, then finding Bruce Maddox in Stardust City. Vashti, thank you. Vashti. I have the poster of it and everything. I should know this.
I have it here.
Yeah. Then the Soji and Narek plot, like I mentioned before, and then the plan just going to absolute shit, Eric.
This was the getting the band together episodes, and it was all, I like Absolute Candor. Stardust City Reg was hit and miss a little bit for me. Like any casino planet in anything I've seen, apparently. Hey, and then
I know that reference.
What was the Impossible Box? I can't even remember what that episode.
That was when Narek basically activates Soji.
Is that the mind meld episode?
No, that's the meditation room.
The meditation room, which is, to be fair, a really cool scene. I like the meditation room scene.
Yeah, it was a cool scene. I don't remember. I don't really care for the episode. It was this middle was disjointed a little bit for me. Like, there were good parts and then bad parts, and then it just kept on going back and forth for me. So it's all right.
Yeah.
It started to get the feeling like I don't know if I like this season anymore.
Yeah. Draft.
So I really like the fact that we went to the relocation planet, because again, I love the politics of Trek.
Yeah.
So having a whole empire destroyed, like what happens, where do people go, what happened, how do they feel, the anti-foreigner sentiment is absolutely logical. It's well done. It's well crafted. I love the Kowat Milat. That's such a great addendum to the lore of the Romulans. So
now we get them like
in Discovery,
which is really cool.
And I like when they introduce something and I go, wait, is that something from like TNG? Is that something from TOS? Like, I feel like I need to go back because I missed something. Yeah. Because it's so well introduced into it that you're like, oh, it's like I've known that forever. So I love this. The costumes are incredible. I have a huge minus. It's Picard is being a dick. And I have a huge problem with Absolute Candor on how he acts. First of all, like, he comes like with that white suit that is like
very
not a good look.
Yeah, not a good look. No.
And And then like he just goes and sits into the Romulan cafe or whatever it is, create a whole thing where a former Romulan senator that lost everything just get beheaded.
Yeah, and he
And
did
I'm
not
just
need to die. Yeah.
I'm just
not
like,
saying,
wait,
Yeah.
that's so weird. And I think it's at the point where I was like, ugh, it's gonna be again like super like weird colonialist crap where like he goes and becomes the white savior. I don't know. I was not happy about this. Like Elnor kept me in, to be honest. I love the Borg cube and all this. Like I like the rest, but I think Absolute Candor was the moment where I loved it the most and hated the most, and I didn't know if I was continuing. I think that's where I think that's where I stopped watching. And I watched it again once everything was out, or like way later into the series, because I was like, yeah, I'm not doing this again. But yeah, for me, that second act, it's where they lost me a bit.
Yeah. Hawk.
Yeah, episode 4 is I agree with Giraffe. It's a really divided episode for me, in that there are so many good parts to it, being the co-op Malat and the introduction of Elnor, and that the stuff with about like these displaced Romulans and that, and carried on that whole theme that they had started in the first episode, where it's like people on different planets has started like a form of nationalism. But again, yeah, the guy getting beheaded in the street, and that, I mean, if that had happened on Earth, and that would have been a big deal.
Yeah.
The Impossible Box, I actually really love this episode, and that, because we talked about it on the Trek Untold, and that I did with Jeff and Matt, and that, because it's one of those, it relates into Picard and like the trauma he experienced with the Borg, and that maybe like giving him some bit of peace and about that whole thing, and that with meeting up with Hugh, the whole thing with Soji being activated by Narek, and that that was the culmination of that whole love story, and that I thought that I did that really well. Yeah, so far my attention was still there for the season.
Nice. I love Absolute Candor. It's a great episode. I like it because of the reasons Draft maybe doesn't like it. The fact that like it shows that Picard has this arrogance and cockiness to him that ends up costing people's lives. And it's the first moment that you're like, okay, dude, like you've maybe lost a step or two, and this wasn't a cool move, and you made the guy that you came here to like recruit kill some people, and that's not totally cool.
The sheer fucking hubris.
The sheer fucking hubris, exactly. But I love the episode. Yeah. Exactly. Read the room. That's a great point, Raph. Finding Matt, like Stardust City Rag is such a weird episode. There's so much fun to it, right?
Fucking
because we get
costumes.
Yeah, the costumes, but like we get great moments with Seven, and then Bruce, but like I'll never get over. Also, we haven't brought this up yet. Like killing Bruce Maddox, I feel like was a dumb decision, because he's so important in season 2 in Measure of a Man. To not explore his character at all, he gets maybe like 5 lines, and then Agnes fucking kills him. It is just like right. Like,
It's so weird.
It's weird.
Awful.
It's awful. So I'm just like, oh, really? And then Soji and Narek. I'll never forgive again, we've talked about this already, but I'll just never forgive the Borg slide. Like, what are you doing? Who wrote that shit? They should lose their job. The Borg electric slide. And then, I don't really mean that. You shouldn't lose your job. You had a moment of weakness. We understand. And then, yeah, the plan going to shit, and Picard having to escape the Borg cube to refuge, which that whole Borg cube escape is really cool and really well shot. But it's hard, because as much as I like the Absolute Candor, Stardust City Rag lost me a little bit, especially with Rafi's scene. So by like episode 6, I'm like, man, the show really needs to get somewhere. And then Hope comes back as we get into Act 3. Nepenthe Refuge with the Rikers, Seven and Elnor defending the Borg cube. Hugh's death. Agnes going completely fucking psycho. Rios's revelation later on, with the fact that Soji has more twins, and one of them beamed aboard his ship, the Ibn Majid. That whole scene, and then finally taking Soji home.
Yeah. So Nepenthe and Broken Pieces are some of the best episodes this season, or at least for me. Nepenthe, I like that Picard had to go somewhere where he felt safe and started to collect himself to know that he could go through with the end of his mission. And having Riker there to be like, he would do anything for Picard. You could see that. And he had the most badass moment when he just like shields up on his fucking house. Like, that's so cool.
That's so cool.
And I like that whole episode was just a good episode without it feeling too much like TNG. Broken Pieces was badass.
Really good.
I like the Borg thing. I like the Borg Queen thing is where I was going. The sadness of, death and whatnot. And I liked Rios when he like freaked out seeing Soji.
Yeah.
Like, that was so cool. Like, that there was another one that was
Great scene.
that had been in that moment where he like lost his faith in the Federation, right? Like, that's when he left, is because of all that shit that happened to him. And like, he played it so well. He's such a good actor. And yeah, I like these 2 episodes a lot.
I really like anything in the Borg cube, to be honest, because it's gorgeous.
Mhm.
The set design was amazing.
Mhm.
An incredible job making the Borg cube like sleek. It's not that, especially the bar. I don't remember when it is in the episode, but there's this scene where Soji and Narek go to the bar inside the Borg cube, and it's a Romulan bar, and it's gorgeous.
Oh,
yeah.
Gorgeous. Like, everything, the set design is incredible. So again, this is like, for me, there was like awesome fight scene. It was great. I like that part for this, but then I was still lost. Like, to be honest, this is like the kind of like the middle of the series where I was like, I don't know what they're doing. Agnes goes psycho, and like, I'm just like, what is going on? Like, why? And at one point, like, I remember that I forgot that we were like looking for the synth planet, and I was like, oh yeah, that's what they're doing. I don't know. I think I finally got all the plot, seeing the season 3 times, and still at the 3rd time, this is the act where I'm just like lost, and I'm like, what is going on? What is going on? So yeah.
Fair. Yeah. Hawk.
Yeah, Broken Pieces was a great episode. The whole thing with Rios was fantastic. And Rafi was actually, really great in this episode. And
The whole scene with the synths, right?
Mm-hmm.
Taking all these, she knew the answer was somewhere there in this fractured, like, hollow programs and that he, basically scanned his mind and put a little bit of this into the one program, put a little bit of that into it, and left him alone to, just drink his booze and read his tragic books and that. And her basically having to piece it together with missing information and that. And of course, the whole thing on the Borg cube and that. More great fighting by Eldor and that. There were some, the fight choreography in involved in his scenes was fantastic. So shout outs to whoever did that. And then of course, 7 and that, we are the Borg.
Oh my God.
Well, one of the best moments of Star Trek ever.
Yeah. So cool. Nepenthe is my favorite episode of the season. It'll always be my favorite episode of the season. I don't know how much more we could really talk about it. Seeing Riker and Deanna and Kestra, and the way that, like, I specifically, of which we don't talk about as much, Kestra's, all of her interactions with Soji and like talking to her about Data and talking about just like how she is special, like, it are just some really beautiful scenes. I love that. Broken Pieces. Oh boy. Chris Rios just like having to relive what happened aboard his ship and with his captain is just like a mood. And then like when he finally comes out with the bubblegum ice cream and the French fries, it's just like, oh damn, like he remembers every minute detail about probably the worst day of his life. It's such a wonderful episode. And then the end of that episode's cool too. It's because like Picard, like, he's like, let's do it Soji's way. For once, we've done it my way, we've done it your way. It's time to let her take charge, and she does. I think these are 2 episodes that give you hope that the season is actually going to go in a good direction. And then
Well,
we get into the finale, episodes 9 and 10. The synth planet, Dr. Soong, evil synth girl, Romulans everywhere, 218 ships or more. Captain fucking Riker, which is a great moment. Picard's quote unquote death, which was another subject we don't talk about. And probably maybe the best part of the finale, his moment with Data and subsequently Data's final moments.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Eric.
These, like, I was so hyped for this after Broken Pieces, and then these 2 episodes were just so convoluted and confusing, and just like it was all over the place. And I was sitting there just like, what the fuck who are these? Like, why should I care about these people? I just don't care. And then the call about the murder robots from the past, and I was just like, oh my god, what?
I didn't even put the murder robots in the freaking outline, but great point, right? Because like they're yeah.
I thought the graphics were beautiful with the flower ships, but
yes.
But the fucking copy and paste Starfleet fleet, like, I love seeing Riker show up, but come on, man, at least 2 ships. 2, come on, just one over and over again.
The Zhang He is just not a good ship design either, so it was just.
I was just so fucking sad.
Yeah.
There were 2 good points in this finale. I don't even want to talk about the Golem thing being so fucking stupid. But
look at Hawk right now. He's doing the Captain Picard.
Yeah, oh my god, I hate it so much. They could have written so much, like, his disease much better. Like, I know they didn't want to have him stuck with that, but they could have made that part of his character and made it amazing.
Literally gave them a magic Ocarina of Time because that's what it looked like that could fix anything, and they didn't fix his brain with it. Like, really?
Yes.
Like, literally had plot armor in their hands and didn't use it.
Data's death was heartbreaking and beautiful.
Yes.
I loved it. What was that other moment? I can't even remember. What was the other moment I liked about the finale? Was it just Will Riker showing up? I think it might have been
when they start playing soccer with a bomb.
Oh God! I don't understand.
Okay, hold on. I'm a soccer fan. I'm fine with the soccer ball scene. I liked it.
It
Sorry.
was so silly. I like Brent Spiner, but it felt like they were just trying to shoe him in because they're like, well, we have him as Data, let's have him as a Soong.
That we never heard of.
Yeah. The ending shot was very cool when they were all on the bridge. The weird 2 shots of 2 relationships that I never thought were gonna be things. Rios and Girardi, which and then Seven and Raffi, which I thought was cool, but I didn't realize that was gonna be a thing.
Okay, and you know what I noticed my third rewatch through that I never noticed either other time? That they were playing Calto.
Oh, is that what they were doing? I thought they were
playing
drinking and talking.
They were drinking, talking, and playing Calto, and then holding hands.
Yeah. I like that final moment. They felt like a crew, even though I might not like all of them. Well, I sort of liked most of them. But that last moment made me feel like, oh, maybe season 2 will be better. That's what the last shot gave me, and these episodes.
Giraffe.
So, I hate these last episodes.
Right?
They're so terrible. So, for example, like when I watched the first season, I remember everything until Absolute Candor. Then I remember Nepenthe. Then I have no idea what's happening, and I remember they crash aboard Cube. That would have been like, you asked me like what happened at the end of Picard. I was like, they crash aboard Cube, and that's pretty much all I had. Between Agnes being Picard being Agnes being surprised that there are like windows in a ship. Like, I didn't know he manually opened the windows. I was like, shut up. Who wrote this? Why? These last 2 episodes are so confusing. Like, first of all, they lost us with the plot. I didn't remember the story with that planet they were trying to find. I was like, oh yeah, the synth planet. Then they arrive and it's a cult. You know, they all here like wearing like the same clothes and being. They have giant flowers.
And the one gold guy when Rios does bring the soccer ball, like, oh, you play? Like, oh, so you're a soccer fan
like,
somehow? Like, okay.
Everything is so weird. Like, I feel like you give somebody to like a week to watch any track, and then you tell them, write something, and that's what would happen. Like, oh, they murdered an android with a brooch in the eye.
Yeah.
Like, the guy knows that you're here because you throw stone at a ship. There was so many things I didn't understand and I didn't want to know. And then they finally bring on the big bad because it was not the Romulans. So it's like a civilization of super.
They don't exist. It's not real. We don't talk about that. It's a lie.
And they show up with like tentacles from a wormhole. Like, it's very Nero-like, by the way, when they appear like this, and you're like, oh wait,
they had no idea what to do, so that's what the CG department came up with, and that's like.
And then they're like, hey, it's aborted, and we're never gonna talk about it ever again. I was like,
I do want to read Xandera's comment here because it is a really cool moment. We have to give some credit to these not great episodes because I do agree with this. The noise of the Borg cube coming out of the space tunnel, the transwarp conduit, has to be my top 10 season 1 moments. That's a really cool. And I love Rios's line after that when he goes, not expecting that, or something like that was not something I was expecting to see.
It's just, it doesn't work. I like the Borg cube. I like the characters independently, but that whole story with the Saints, we get like 2 episodes with them, and they're useless. They're weird. Oh, and they taught themselves Vulcan mind meld. Like, what? No. I want to forget these 2 episodes. Can I forget them?
Absolutely. Hawk.
Thank you.
The face palming has been real with you, my friend.
Fuck these episodes. See, this is how bad they were in that. I don't normally like to swear on these podcasts and that,
when Hawk is swearing, they were bad.
Fuck these episodes and that, and fuck the writers and that for thinking like, this was going to pass off as like, it was going to cut muster with true Star Trek fans.
It's Akiva Goldman who wrote this one. Two.
I know. Yeah,
Switches.
Please stay away from it. Stay away from Trek writing and that, Akiva, and that. Go make another movie with Ron Howard and that. Do that.
Don't bring Ron Howard down.
Hatred. Wow.
Yeah, we're gonna have all the Drekkie people that we have blocked reaching out. So, oh, we hear you guys talk shit about Picard, and like we still like things about the series. Go away.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Like, where do you begin? Okay, Suture set up as a big bad in the episode, and that next episode comes along, click, she's done. That's one off the board. And that Narissa comes back for really no reason other than to have like 7 kick her ass, and then
which was cool.
And then feel bad about it a little later on. I don't know why. Soji flip flop and that. It's like, I don't trust you in that. I'm gonna bring about the destruction of organic life in the entire universe and that, because a few people hurt.
He's so angry
because my crazy mind melding sister said so.
I love when you're angry. I want to see more.
I want to see more angry Hawk.
This is the good thing. This is the good thing that these 2 episodes have brought into my life. Seeing you lose your shit about it. Like, this is perfect.
Let's talk about the technology in that. This is like an advanced, these advanced synths and that, who amazing computational minds in that. Flowers for ships. We don't even understand how they build them, And
they have 10 of them.
They have 10 of them. Why? Why are they only 10? It's organic matter that, shouldn't they be able to create hundreds of thousands of these things?
So they can go 10 forward.
Forward.
Pressure's on here. I have to
give yourself the button. Give yourself the button. Come on.
All right.
Get off my bridge.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And don't even get me started on the magic device and that, that can do anything except fix Picard. And come on. All right, let's get to it. Let's talk about Gollum body and the big fake out. The big fake out death of Picard and that, where everybody got really, really sad and that, and it was,
2 minutes later.
He's back. Hey.
A few moments later.
And that was a great death scene.
It was a great death.
So good.
It was a
and
great
for
death.
Data and for Picard, it was perfect. And it was like, kidding.
10 minutes ago, before we all started ranting, someone said on Twitch, and I don't remember what it was because it would be a lot of scrolling, said that, I think it was NYRLite actually, said that if the show had ended with Data and Picard scene, it would have been a beautiful finale.
Yeah.
And hard to disagree.
At least the ending would have been good.
I will give you one better in that. Okay. As much I did enjoy Data's, the final moments in that, it's like I would just rewatch the episode and that before I did the podcast.
Same.
And I got to that episode, got to that scene, and I was like, I've seen this before. Don't worry, I'm good with this. I'm not good with this. I was just tearing up. But okay, they want to conclude this with Picard's death, but leave it open for the possibility of a second season in that, right? Picard wakes up in a room in that with the board in front of him in that. Who does he see? Q.
You know what would have been even better than that?
Yeah,
have him die at the end
black.
Have him die at the end of the season, and then all the trailers was Q talking, and then you just see Picard.
Oh, yes.
At
Dude,
like a
giving
final
me
image.
goosebumps.
Oh God, that would have been a good
fucking
segue.
Star Trek
right now. Stop
Trek.
Oh my God.
Hire us. We're good.
Yes.
We can
God damn.
write it.
We are
We can
good.
make it.
We are good.
Giraffe, Eric.
Yeah.
We will knock it out of the park for you guys.
Let me tell you. And if I don't convey it enough in the next 2 minutes telling you my thoughts, I wrote a review of every single one of these episodes on our blog on everythingispermitted.com. You can go read those and see how unkind I was. I'm only going to talk about 2 moments, and that is Picard's death and the Data scene. It comes down to money and wanting to do more seasons, which I'm now not like disappointed about because we've seen some of it, and that's all I'm allowed to say until for another like 4 hours. They did not have the balls. They did not have the balls to do a 1-season series and kill off Jean-Luc Picard. And that is a shame because I would have been fine with him dying if he died in the way that he died in this show, and that was actually his death. To cop out and not kill him and put him in an android body, whether you want to make all these comparisons to his feelings over Data's death or not, it doesn't fucking work. And it is an absolute sham and disrespect to the entire character of Jean-Luc Picard. There, I said it. It doesn't work, especially when you go with 2 different red herrings in the episode, 1 being the Golem body and 2 being the fucking Ocarina of Time design thing that can fix anything. Fix the fucking thing in his brain, period. End of story. Remove it. Do something. It could have been done. It's Star Trek. Space magic exists. Period. End of story. To kill him and then have all these beautiful scenes of Elnor and Rafi and Seven and Rios, and they're all crying and you think he's dead. And then to have him come back in the skull and body is just such a slap in the face. I can't. That being said, there's 2 really amazing parts of these finales, and one is Captain Riker, copy and paste ships, whatever.
Fucking hell.
His lines and his delivery and his moments with Picard are beautiful, right? Like I love that, and I love to see Captain Riker. The best part of this finale, which I will never say a single bad thing about because it is such a beautiful scene, is post Nemesis closure with Jean-Luc and Data, which is probably the most important relationship in 7 seasons of Star Trek: The Next Generation. To see them get closure, it's the show could have ended there and I would have been a happy man, and they didn't, and that's fine because we're getting a season 2. But like, wow, what an incredible, like for such a crappy 2-episode finale, that probably still goes down as one of the best scenes in Star Trek history, right? Like it is so damn good. And the acting in that scene and the lighting and the mood of the whole thing is just absolutely fantastic. And then just to be kind of thrown away with this Golem body and just leave everyone really angry. And you see comments, all over Twitter coming up to the next season, having Q. Oh, is Q going to snap him and do the Pinocchio thing? Is this about Jean-Luc becoming a real boy again? And you know what? Fuck it. I wasn't really about it because they've done it now in season 1 and you have to live with the choice that you made. But damn it. You know what? Fuck it. Make him a real boy. Do it. Because erase that bullshit.
Yeah.
Just erase that bullshit.
It's better. It's better than it's a synthetic body, but it's still going to die.
Oh, right. Like, really? Like you didn't, and you,
I think
we know you would want superpowers, you know?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
The worst thing about this is that now, like, we've seen a little bit of Picard, but part of my brain is thinking that's not actually him. That's a fucking robot with
right, and that's the biggest problem I have, and I have to just try and make myself forget that and pretend that it didn't happen, which is kind of what I've done with the first couple of episodes that we've gotten to see with season 2. Listen, I had on our outline originally worst moments from Picard season 1. I think we've already all talked about our worst moments from Picard season 1. Everybody knows what those are. So I am going to end our episode on a high note, and I've done something special for each and every one of you. You guys, I asked you earlier this week to send me a list of your favorite moments from Picard season 1, which there are really good moments of this season. And we're going to go down the line. I'm going to play the moment, and then each of you can talk about it. So here we go. Yay. Eric, we're going to start with you. Your favorite moment from season 1. Here we go.
You need a place to hide out. Shields up.
Yeah.
Max. We've had a little trouble around here lately with the city.
Best to run anti-cloaking scans too.
Initiate anti-cloaking scans.
Oh my God. He's so awesome.
The time you were flying off to Romulus to plan the great supernova rescue. Do you remember what I said?
So you want to be ass deep in Romulans for the rest of your life?
I believe I also reminded you of Newton's 4th law of thermodynamics.
No good deed goes unpunished.
I mean, God, like that scene is so good. Like, I can't believe that Jonathan Frakes was worried about playing that character again because he was
straight up anxiety.
He was so perfect in it, and like he's like Picard's ride or die. Like he'll do anything for that man, and I love that. And I just want to see more. I want to see them go off on adventures, family adventures in their space wagon,
walking their dogs.
Kids.
Someone said it earlier. Yes.
God, I love that.
Awesome.
It's so good.
Yeah, such a good scene.
I do not remember what I sent. So
I think you're going to be happy with what I gave you. So, Giraffe, here is one of the things that you mentioned being your favorite parts of Picard season 1.
When our foremothers first endured the admonition, we, the Zhat Vash, were born. For hundreds of years since, we have worked in shadow to prevent a second coming of the destroyers. It is this dreaded work that you must now carry on. What you are about to experience will drive some of you mad, but those of you who endure will be stronger.
I love it. I love this. I love the robes. Like
the robes were really badass.
That's so beautiful. Yeah. And like these, and you know what? I've always liked the Romulans because first of all, Romulan women are badass since TOS, right? Yeah. Since the commander, and you have Sela, and you have like all like these like incredible in DS9, like incredible women there. What's the name of the one that is supposedly a Vulcan ambassador, but is a Romulan, and this like
I don't remember her name,
but yeah, you see.
Yeah.
So they always have like these incredible women, and the fact that Picard went, you know what? They're crazy enough. Romulan women are so insane. They would do something like this for generation, like drive themselves insane, shoot themselves in the head, right?
Claw their faces off.
Or how about that one that grabbed a rock?
Yep.
Incredible. Like this scene is so insane. And then they're like, and you know what? You think they're insane. They're so insane. They managed to break a Borg cube. And I was like, yes, more. Give me more. I want more of the Zhat Vash now that I know they're all crazy.
I did really love the whole story behind the Zhat Vash and all their mythology. I thought it was really neat. So, Hawk, your favorite moment from season 1.
No. Please, my friend. Choose to live. I regret your choice. Ranve hastrujat Picard trakalankai. Ijani dorzati. Imefel dordar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. We talked about, it's like, why did that guy have to die? But at the same time, as an introduction to Elnor, isn't that like, who he was and what his character was like? It's a fascinating scene,
Space
like
ninjas.
in 3 seconds and that, and it's like, that was a good distance he had to travel to get to that guy, in order to save Picard's life, and he makes it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I understand him in that, because it's like, okay, this is who he was. This is what he was trained to do. And it's like when you commission like, a co-op Malat to your cause and that, it's like, this is why you commission them in that, because they were like the deadliest.
They will fucking kill you.
They will fucking kill you. They will give you a choice in the matter as well.
Yeah, they'll ask very nicely before chopping your head off.
Please, my friend, choose to live. It's like, I'm still gonna stab this old man in the chest, and that. Nope, you're not. So
they did a great job developing Romulan too. Beautiful.
Yeah.
More language.
Yeah. All right, guys, and closing it out with one of really my favorite episode is the Riker, but I feel like we all agree with Captain Riker at the end in his moment. So I went with my backup and one of my favorite scenes in the entire series. Here we go.
I see this ship is impeccably maintained. Every bolt and clasp and fitting in place. Everything stowed in regulation Starfleet order. I don't know what happened to you, Rios, or to the Ibn Majid, but 5 minutes on the ship, and I know precisely what I'm looking at. You are Starfleet to the core. I can smell it on you.
That's just my tragic sense of life. Warn me you're a speech maker.
Yeah. I love that scene because, listen, Picard's trained and seen a lot of officers come and go on the Enterprise. He's as Starfleet as it comes, so he knows Starfleet when he sees it. And Rios could have the PTSD of what happened to him all he wants, but he keeps a tight ship, despite maybe keeping a blade of titanium in his shoulder. I love that moment. And I especially love it because of the moment Jeff Russo's like original Star Trek theme kind of like hits in that moment. It just makes it that much more powerful. Listen, again, we could talk all we want about how this wasn't a great season of TV, but goddamn, did it have an amazing score.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hats off to Jeff Russo. Guys, we're gonna talk about it tomorrow, so I'm gonna skip the whole one thing. Actually, you know what? We will do it because just two seconds each. One thing you're looking forward to in Picard season 2, Eric.
Well, we know they go back in the past, and Elnor is going to be with them. I want to see some Star Trek 4 Elnor action with a little headband around over his ear so that no one knows that he's there.
Yes.
That's what I want.
There you go. Giraffe.
I want Elnor to meet a cat. And you know why? Because we have Spock meeting a cat and being fascinated by the cat. And I do think it's going to be an incredible callback to Gary 7. That's that episode.
Oh, boy.
That's all I want. Yeah.
Maybe I'm regretting doing this now. Hawk, you're up. One thing you're looking forward to for Picard season 2.
The back and forth between Q and Picard. Some of the best moments of TNG involved the two of them bantering. So that is, I'm hoping I see a lot of that in this new season.
Nice. Annie Warshing, the Borg Queen. Enough said. Yeah. Can't wait.
Is it wrong to be attracted to a Borg Queen?
Not one bit. Not one bit. Guys, finally, let's rate Picard season 1, very quickly, out of 5 slices of bunny corn pizza. Go ahead, Eric.
2 out of 5. I didn't really like it.
That's how much you put at your plate at the same time. 2 slices of pizza.
Yeah, it's true.
Giraffe, go ahead.
Same too. Do better.
I'm going to go 3.5.
You're too generous.
Basically, I'm eating the cheese and the pepperoni and that. I'm getting rid of the olives and the sardines that they decided to put on it.
The olives are awesome. Leave the olives on.
And chucking the crust away at the end.
That's fair.
Fair. I will read NYRLite's comment here real quick. If anybody has any ratings, very quickly post them because we got to wrap up. As much as I grumble at points about season 1, I'm still glad that we got to see some more new Trek. The post-Enterprise years with no Trek on TV were miserable, which is very hard to disagree with. I'm going to give this a 2.5 out of 5. Some great moments, but an awful finale and an awful decision to fake out kill Jean-Luc really ruined this season. Oh shit, hold on. My comms went down. I was so mad. My comms went down.
Like, what's happening?
2.5. Guys, thank you so much for joining us for not only our week-long first ever podcast festival, Captain Picard Week, but for joining us on this retrospective look at Picard season 1. It's not so exciting talking about this season, but tomorrow, which is very soon, we get to talk about season 2, episode 1, The Stargazer. Join us at our normal time tomorrow night, 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. For that, you can catch our Discovery review, which we're going to record right after this, right at noon tomorrow. So there will be no Discovery talk on our live show. You can just listen to that in podcast form on YouTube the next day. But thank you guys so much. Thank you to all the amazing podcasts that took part in Captain Picard Week. We could not have done this without you and your just amazing brains and amazing talks. This was something special, and we can't wait to do something like it again soon. So for Eric, for Giraffe, for Hawk, for me, I will say Jolan True. Good night, live long, and prosper.
Thanks for beaming into our podcast today. If you want to keep the hailing frequencies open, you can subscribe on Apple and Google Podcasts, YouTube, and Spotify. Like what you hear? Put in a good word with Starfleet and leave us a 5-star review.